we give them a physical definition, come from a higher order. And when you look at pain, for instance, going back to your question, sometimes we think, okay, well, I'm just having this pain here. But if you really follow the understanding of the law of one, not all pain comes from the third dimensional level. There is a lot of pain that comes that is just really, from lifetime to lifetime of us coming here and creating karma. Is being shining down through all levels of our physical, mental, and spiritual structure. And so there is, we have, I've read, I can't tell you how many cases of people who have had physical ailments or, deformation and whatnot, that they're carrying from other lifetimes. And they don't understand why. That, didn't ever occur to them. And it wasn't until they did reincarnation work that they found it there. It's like, oh, wow, really? So now they can heal it. So essentially what I'm trying to say is be mindful that whatever pain you may have, that you think, obviously, the logical go-to place, oh yeah, what happened? I fell down the stairs, I have a broken neck. But some of these things also can come from other planes of existence.
Yeah, that's what pain is the universe of your body telling you that some attention needs to be...
Exactly. Some beautiful work has been done by Julia Cannon, Dolores Cannon's daughter, who wrote a book, I'm trying to remember the name of the book, Soul Speaks. Wonderful book. It deals with looking at portions of your body that represent specific issues that one may be kind of, battling with. So it's a short read. It's very easy. She is very Soul Speaks. Yeah. So it's highly recommended. At the end of the day, I'm basically saying that pain is a catalyst for growth. And in my understanding, after years of doing a lot of very intrinsic and very profound spiritual work, what I've come to understand about it is that it is kind of a way on how the Creator is wanting to sort of hover over us, extend its arms above and around us to kind of pull us back into itself.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. Which kind of, for those of you who follow Catholicism, did it not ever occur to you or understand why the flaming heart? Why the fire in the heart? Does not have anything to do with pain, maybe?
I think we might be on a different page here, but I see pain as a resistance. And this is where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
To me, it's a resistance because when I move into it,
Mhm.
whether it's physical or emotional, when I move into it and don't resist it, it resolves it. So,
That you hit the nail on the head, but that's not coming from the resistance of pain. That's coming from that's coming from you. The resistance is you.
right.
Right. And surrendering to the pain, which is exactly what we're talking about, is surrender is a form of transmuting pain. You're taking a very intense thing and just saying, okay, I get it. I'll accept it. And so that is the transmuting process.
It's painful to the ego to surrender.
It's very painful to the ego letting go and saying,
But the spirit
God
is
darn
a
it, pardon
flame
my
that
French.
resolves it.
Yeah, I mean, I want my way. I want this to go away now. What do we do with pain? What do we do with pain as a society? We drink it away, we sleep it away, we eat it away. What else do we do with it?
Smoke it.
Smoke it away. My goodness.
You don't smoke it or drink it away, you tuck it in, drink it in seconds.
You get the point. You get the point, right?
Yeah. Pain is the messenger, and resistance creates more pain.
Exactly. The more that we resist it, the deeper it digs its heels in there and says, I'm staying. Hello? Work it out. Did not resonate? Yeah. So we come back to the law of one. The beginning was the portion we've already seen, and says, then love precipitated what we call light. Are we doing on time? So we've precipitated love into light. We looked at this word earlier, precipitation. Wasn't there another place that we saw it earlier? Vibration. It's a form of precipitation, right? If you're precipitating, you're moving in vibration. So what I'm getting at is, again, the languaging, the narrative of these two laws are completely different. They're coming from different sources that have articulated in its own way in the time. I mean, we've got to remember the Kybalion was way back in Greek time, and it's been translated I don't know how many times, which obviously it loses some value as it goes down the line. It's like playing telephone. You know, it said this, no, it said that, no, it said that. But essentially, we're still looking at the same thing. So we go back to thermodynamic, that explosion of the initial energy being there and saying, okay, I'm going to create.
Call it the first thought.
The first thought. And it really, the logo was the first word.
Primordial Om.
The primordial Om. So we jump into the principle of polarity, which in essence really is correspondence, because again, it has its mirror image in opposition. This is where you get into duality. Okay? Everything is dual. Everything has its poles. Everything has its pairs, opposites. Likes and unlikes are the same. Opposites are identical in nature but different in degrees. Extremes meet, and all truths are but half-truths. All paradise may be reconciled. In psychology, we know this to be what the great Carl Jung made its thesis or himself be known, which is called the shadow effect. Now, this is one of my favorite principles for that matter. And by the way, I wrote a 2-part article, fairly long article, in the Huffington Post. You can find it under What's Your Polarity, Part 1 and Part 2. But the reason it's one of my favorite principles is because it really has something to sink your teeth in when you're trying to have a relationship, for instance. Carl Jung really tells us that when you're seeing something outside of yourself that you don't like, what are you seeing? You're seeing you. You're seeing what you don't like about you, but it's you. So isn't that a mirror? Isn't that in a way the correspondence, the looking, the mirror of looking at yourself?
Once you realize that, it makes self-correction really easy.
Hello?
It's everywhere.
Exactly. And so it's beautiful because what we fight outside of ourselves, we have these discord, arguments with whoever, but it's like a clue. It's, the little red flag going, look at me, look at me, look at me. And when you look at life in that context, it's like, things become really easy. It's a lot, you can do the little skip and hop kind of thing. So
It helps you see everything as one, too.
it does. It brings a lot of clarity if you want to look. And that's the key. If you want to look. If you don't want to look, forget it. It's going to be glaring. It's going to be hitting you in the face until you're, blue all over and you're not going to see it. In the law of one, they don't exactly poise polarity in that context of, you're looking at your opposite in the mirror. However, there is something very important to take away from how it is described in the Law of One. And it has to do with kind of percentages or service to self. And here's what they say. Positive polarity requires 51% of service to others, which if you by chance happen to get into any discussion groups, into Facebook and whatnot, the STO is what's usually the acronym there, service to others, in order to graduate from third density. Now, this is the first time we've ever heard anything about graduating, right? Well, if we come here to the boot camp and the test questions are not given to you right away and we have to grub from them, then what's the purpose? The purpose is to graduate. The purpose is to get the learning, learn whatever it is that you came to learn. And essentially what we came to learn is the mysteries of love. That's it, folks. The negative polarity requires 95%. It's very, very, the requirements are very high, of service to self, SCS, in order to graduate third density. After reaching sixth density, all entities switch over to positive because there is no polarity. Do we understand that? Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I noticed that positive polarity requires 51%, so I'm thinking if it requires 51%, then the opposite is 49%. So
that's called vacillation. Remember I talked about vacillation and Yoda? If you're not here and you're there and you're kind of not decided.
Yeah, no, what I'm getting to is that the numbers don't add up to 1.
It has nothing to do with adding up to 1 and whatnot. It's just simply you either made your choice or you didn't.
Don't.
You made your choice to be of service to self, which requires, this
95%.
particular percentage of how you're going to be, how you're ethically going to, direct your thoughts and intentions and your beingness with others, or you're going to, just be service to others.
What it's saying is much easier to be service to others.
Absolutely. And really the majority of us are. There is, according to the Law of One, there is just such a minute percentage of those who are service to self. Absolutely minute. And again, and obviously we may differ from that opinion, but we're taking the word of a sixth density being telling us so. I just find it fascinating because it's interesting that after sixth density, meaning progressing the soul to that level, everybody switches over because there's only one. There's only one way, and that's light. So what is density? Density is the concentration of light in a unit or area. We can see this much clearer if we are looking at a light bulb, for instance. You can see that the light is concentrated closer to the light bulb itself, and as you move out, it's a little darker. So the light is denser towards the center, the source. And as you're moving out, it's less dense, there's less light. That's all there is to it. That's the simple way of explaining or understanding density. So, pardon me? Just like the sun. So when you're thinking of light and the term enlightened, that's all it means. I mean, we give this connotation of enlightenment, oh, this, guru and all-knowing Mahara. No. Enlightened is simply being in your choice of being in the light. Yep. So, and we go to the principle of rhythm, and everything flows out and in, everything has its tides. Everything flows out and in, everything has its tides, all things rise and fall, the pendulum swings, manifests, and everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the same measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. Wasn't there another area that we saw the word rhythm and tides in the Law of One? Yes. So you're seeing how these concepts, they're just universal. Right. So in comparison to that particular, back to rhythm, the equal context or explain would be, I am Rob. As we use this term, it is universal in application. Intelligent infinity has a rhythm of flow as a giant heart beginning with the central sun, as you would think or conceive of this. The presence of the flow of inevitable, is that correct? Inevitable as a tide, there's the tide again, of beingness without polarity. Remember we said after 6 density there's no polarity, there's no opposition outside of itself. Without finity, the universe is infinite, so without finity, the vast and silent all beating outward, focusing outward and inward until the focuses are complete. The intelligence of consciousness or foci have reached a state where there shall be, we shall say, spiritual nature or mass calls are inward until coalesces. This is the rhythm of reality we spoke. So think about the ocean. I had the photo of the ocean again and rhythm. So you ever heard the term where focus goes, energy flows? If you're going out and out and out and out like the ocean, that's where the focus is going. If you're coming in and in and in and in and in, that's where the focus is going. So the energy is always moving wherever you're focusing on. So the principle of cause and effect. Oh my goodness, it's so up there I can't read it. Everything cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to the law. Chance is